My film is Protos. It is a sci-fi thriller that chronicles the story of a dying man who exchanges his freedom and sanity for the prospect of eternal life inside a sterile containment facility. Protos is a Latin word meaning primal, initial, or beginning, and that correlates to the message of the film, which explores the primal human urge to value freedom over life itself. The visual style was inspired partly by Prometheus, so the Protos is an alliteration to that as well. And a friend of mine, he's like talking about like this colony of glowing beings manifesting and going through generations inside this larger entity, and was suggested it as an idea for a story. And so I took that. I was like, well, we have to put a human face on it. At first he wanted all glowy blobs of light. I was like, we have to somehow humanize this. So I started putting the story together, and I was looking through Facebook, and I saw Richard's picture, and something about his eyes really stood out to me. So I set up a meeting at a coffee shop. I was like, this is the story that we're doing. And then he showed some pictures on his phone, and I saw some work that he did, and I saw him without a shirt, and I was like, okay, we got something good going on here. My friend and collaborator David Dewick, who did the visual style, was good with editing, but neither one of us came from digital rendering. So what we ended up doing to create the glowing effects and the eye and all this was shooting the effects practically. We did things like burning steel wool. We would drop elements into swirling water and shoot that and layer and composite it in, similar to the way that they did the fountain, if you've ever seen the visual effects behind that. And I had to say, given the fact that we just wrote it anticipating, oh, the visual effects will come together, it actually worked out pretty well if you look at the footage. I'm very proud of the way that it looks, and Dave just gave it a beautiful glossy look. When you're working with a very small budget and you're working under extreme time constraints, you tend to, as one person, take on as many responsibilities as possible. And one of the things I didn't look forward to doing was trying to get a hold of the guy and where's the score, and is the score ready, and is the score long enough? So I kind of decided to just do it myself. I have written a few songs before, but this was my first foray into composing for films. And so what I did, I thought, well, I have a background in writing, and they always tell you the best way to come up with a good story is cite multiple references. That way it's not too derivative. So I was like, if my favorite composers were in one room, what score would they come up with? So I was inspired by the piano of Beethoven, the techno elements of Daft Punk, the piercing synth sound of Vangelis, and the sort of ethereal bells and choir of James Newton Howard. So I used that as a palette to construct the score, and then I looked at each scene, and depending on what it needed, was able to craft a score that would suit it. And for my first effort, I'm very pleased with the results, and I hope that's one of the elements that really stands out to people, because this is my artistic debut in the cities. I've never directed before, I've never scored before, so I hope people take that into consideration, and that this transitions into really exciting new projects in the future. When I found out I was part of the Twin Cities Film Fest, I was ecstatic because I'd been to the Oscar party. I saw that this was a really big deal. I wanted to be involved in any way that I can. I tried a couple different things, was considering being in other people's films to get in the fest, and I thought, why don't I just make my own? So it's very exciting that the dream that I had came true. The Twin Cities Film Fest is a wonderful opportunity to network with amazing creative people from all over the country, and I can't wait to meet everyone and present my skill set and see what's available.